This thesis aims to look at biological intelligence as inspiration for new materials and structural approaches in design. The subject of my research was exploring how the creation and integration of new forms has the potential to enhance the relationship between the built and natural environment through the study of material systems. The last 2 quarters, I was investigating the possibility of establishing new methods of design using the process of material agency and material computation. It was a study to address heterogeneity and complex spatial organizations through the process of information as a method of articulation of the tectonic. It relates to the heterogeneous and differentiated society and its requirement for an architecture that renders from prototypical scenarios and is highly adaptive and resilient to specific sites and program. The potential of heterogeneous material was explored in order to assemble high-resolution differentiated materials, soft and hard, into a single element. With these materials, it would allow for the creation of an interconnected system, the ability to think of form and structure as one. The materials that I found to be the most successful were resin and rubber. There were materials with completely different properties that adhere to each other. Each material could be altered to be more structural or flexible. A third material could be added in for more structural support. My method of research would be working with fabrication, which in this case would be 3D printing, a form of additive manufacturing technology where 3-dimensional objects are created by laying down successive layers of materials addressing an architectural scale. By adding a secondary material, I am also adding more dimension and getting a higher resolution adaptive layering of voxels. This process will allow for the actualization of new forms that are able to adapt to different conditions and will allow for the assembly of differentiated material systems to integrate further capacities into a single element. This is accomplished by allowing for the variation of thicknesses according to structural load, material, porosity, and density, which could further expand into a combination of analysis, modeling, and fabrication into one process that is recomputed on site. The scenario that I have chosen for a test release is one at Switzer Canyon. As San Diego follows a very strict grid system, I noticed that as soon as the grid gets near the canyon, the road comes to a halt. As San Diego becomes more dense, the canyons could become, to a moderate extent, an inhabitable living area. 3D printing would allow me to build a structure in such terrain without abusing the environment. The application process for this scenario began by mapping out the site and picking certain areas in the canyon for it to span. The structure is being supported at certain points in the canyon so there's not just sitting on top of the terrain and ruin its microclimate underneath. The openings allow for light to penetrate to the canyon surface. Further differentiation of the material could even allow for the use of retracing to further introduce light where required. The structure is made to serve as a connection for the communities that surround the canyon. You're able to walk below, above, and through the area. The canyon is not used very much and has become an area where people throw their trash and graffiti. I see it as a way of enhancing the canyon, allowing the structure to inform symbiotic relationship with the climate. The system has the ability to adapt to the area, leaving the canyon intact and expanding further capacities into its societal functions.
I'd like to just continue to be able to express myself as best as I can in history. I feel like I have a lot of work to do still. I'm a student of the drums, and I'm also a teacher of the drums too.
doses of human beings, that which assimilates and feeds the body. So the crab feeds his astral brain, assimilating and distributing all he receives, slowly, until it becomes a part of him.